A little bit of special time with the Treo engineering from John Henry. Let's do the FS. Change that to a 0. FS is looking like 26 hertz. QTS is 0.7. Let's see what the VAS is. VAS is 2.5 cubic feet. That's if you want to get to 26 hertz. You probably just use as a standard 1.5 to 2 cubic foot, tuned at about maybe 32, 33 hertz for some good response. And then we have a little bit of surprise because we actually got 2 of these in the trade, and I wanted to. The other one is busted, and so I wanted to pull it apart. So the other one is ready to go, and it's only $200 shipped. We're going to post it on, I think, eBay or something probably. This is the Chinese gasket. Not that that's bad. You can see some of the, I don't know if you can see the cost savings and material savings that they do. The Chinese ones will also be stiffer. So this is not so bad. Sundown uses those super Chinesium ones, which are really difficult. The softer they are, typically is the American ones. Because Americans are soft. But one thing I really admire about this is the polycone. It's actually a very thick polycone. It's actually pretty strong. I'm not typically a fan of polycones. They have problems bonding. Sometimes they fall apart. That's one of the reasons why Kicker back in even in the 90s would double stitch to the cone, because they couldn't find an adhesive that would adhere to that. So of course, cool logo. I like that. Looks like an aluminum coil, 3-inch. And John Henry was telling me that they were able to get XY to fly cut these for the best ventilation. They make a version that has drilled holes, but this one provided the most. And then he also went with a thick top plate for more heat dissipation, more handling. There's another version that it has a it looks like a claw that fits over the sides, and it's a heat sink. That again is also for heat. Really, you don't need much more magnet than this. This uses a lot of steel. It's a very good balance, and this is actually the way that things should be built if you're going to make something really high-end and still be cost-effective. Ferrite is cheaper. It costs less, I should say. Ferrite costs less than steel, and so that's why a lot of companies, including me as a builder, double stack, triple stack, quadruple stack. It looks cool, but this is all you really need, and this is really good. I think they actually machine these in-house. I think he's in Iowa, if I remember right. I can't remember. Not a fan of the grill. I would when I do the recon on this one, I'm going to go ahead and pull that. Not a fan of the silicone as well, but this is probably this came off pretty easy. I'm not a fan of the adhesive, but if you just do silicone, regular silicone caulking, it actually works as a heat bonder to the frame as a way to transmit heat into the frame as a heat sink. So that's another way to go. Terminals are fine. I do like that he puts labels on the subs. Jacob at Sundown doesn't even have the courtesy to do that. So, but I got some dirt on him. If you simply Google Jacob Fuller Sundown lawsuit, it gets quite interesting. So I didn't know, you guys know that I don't like him. Most of that was because he's just smug and arrogant. But come to find out, there may be some other issues going on. Again, he doesn't treat just me that way. He treats everybody that way, and some sociopathic tendencies there with Scotty Johnson. But again, that's just my opinion. But as far as Treo goes, very well built, kind of expensive, but again, these are good for people that want the best but don't quite want JL audio or want something like this. This is actually, I consider this actually a shallow mount woofer. So how shallow it is. There is a bumped back plate which adds to it. Let me grab the ruler real quick to see the measurement on this. So the other little annoying thing about Treo for me is the naming conventions. I don't understand the naming conventions, but whatever. Looks like 5 3/4. So yeah, that would technically be a shallow subwoofer, but it's full grown, full excursion. You saw the excursion. It's not an excursion queen. It actually bottomed out a little bit on there. Wine height looks like about 40 to 45 millimeter, which is pretty standard. Spider looks like the old T.C.O.Z type, so he may have imported those. I'm not a fan of those either because they bottom out on the top plate and they can arc, so that's never good. You saw in some of the Lightning Audio stuff that Tilo did, where he actually would put Kapton tape on the top of the top plate to prevent the arcing of the two leads. So you don't see that here, but again, this is a really good mean subwoofer for shallow. A little bit overpriced for me. I'd rather go with like a Scar DDX, or if they made a shallow version of the Scar EVL, I think I would prefer that, just as far as price wise goes. But other than that, looks like a solid, maybe it's actually closer to 1,000 watt. I would say like 850, 950, but I think they conservatively rated it at 750 because it has a 3-inch voice coil. So I would put these on par with like a Rockford Punch HX2. Actually a little bit better than that because there's more steel and there's more design in dissipating the heat. So other than that though, it's a pretty good woofer. This one will be for sale. I'll do my version of it, probably the same, which is $200 shipped, but mine will be backed up with a 3-year warranty. So that's the difference that I like to give you guys so that you have a little bit more value putting your trust in me, putting your trust in our Lord Gonzo. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.